Let's take a quick look at some of the other stories that made newspaper headlines. News source Guyana posted the headline 137 road deaths recorded between January and August. It reported that the Guyana Police Force has revealed that 137 lives were lost in 92 road accidents and incidents between January 1st and August 31st, 2023. This includes 3 children. In response, the government and police launched a road safety campaign to promote responsible road use. President Irfan Ali has urged immediate action to address this alarming trend, instructing the acting police commissioner to lead a vigorous campaign to curb reckless behavior on the roads. Tourism numbers are stronger than expected was the headline carried by the Nassau Guardian. It said this year the Bahamas is witnessing a tourism boom surpassing expectations. July year-to-date arrivals are up 59% compared to 2022 and 30% compared to 2019. Tourist spending is also on the rise. Major hotels are experiencing high occupancy rates, and the country is set to welcome over 8 million visitors by year-end. The report said the government's initiatives are creating business opportunities for Bahamians. Cruise and air arrivals have surged, with the United States as the primary source of visitors. Those were some of the stories that made newspaper headlines. And before we go, let's take a look on the lighter side. China's Great Wall has been pierced by Genghis Khan, the Manchus, and now allegedly a couple of construction workers who wanted a shortcut. Authorities in China arrested the man and a woman for smashing a path through a section of the ancient wall, a cultural icon and United Nations protected heritage site. The area of the breach was a broken down section far from the restored segments most Chinese and foreign tourists are familiar with. But the two cutting a dirt road cut through a section of the wall to get a shorter route for some construction work they were doing in nearby towns was no less shocking. And that's where we end Caribbean Week in Review. Join us again next week when we recap the stories making headlines across the region. I'm Renee Sion.
One of the things that the church must be aware of, that this is no time and season for us to get so deep and holy that we can't hail folk who hurting next to us. We can't hail the people in our neighborhood. We can't see how hungry they are. We can't get too deep, brothers and sisters, and so anointed that we forget that if someone hurt you, you gotta forgive them.
Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on ZNS TV 13.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, tourism officials report a significant increase in stopover passengers to Grand Bahama Island over the years. The Freeport Licensee Association is taking a proactive step in promoting public awareness and understanding of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. And a local pastor emphasizes the urgent need for public awareness regarding sexual assault and child molestation. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Tonight we begin in the tourism sector. The Minister of Tourism Investment and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, highlights record-setting figures with Grand Bahama emerging as a standout in visitor arrivals. Building on the Deputy Prime Minister's announcement, local tourism industry leaders share their perspective on the resurgence. Jay Philippe has tonight's top story.
The and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investment, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, announced yesterday at a press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister that stopover passengers on Grand Bahama have seen an increase over the years. He also added that cruise arrivals are up 20% and that the Ministry of Tourism has been working with stakeholders on the islands to promote Grand Bahama as a tourist destination. Senator James Turner, who's directly connected with tourism operations on the island, confirmed that the cruise industry has been leading the charge as it relates to visitor arrivals.
Margaritaville and Valeria have done very well the last 6 months. I mean, coming into summer they were strong, all through summer they were strong, and even up to today's date, they're still strong. Grand Bahama's deficiency remains that we have not gotten the hotel product sorted out as yet. But in terms of day-only passengers, we've done very well.
Now, Senator James Turner noted that this area, better known as Retail Street, is somewhere that both locals and visitors can look forward to reopening in the very near future.
If you've been out there recently, you would see there's a lot of work happening at Prop Club. There's some things happening out at the beach. And the last time I spoke with Ms. Clark, she was pretty much just waiting for the air conditioners to be completely installed, ran, and that everything was okay. So I would suspect that it will be, this month, I expect them to open up Retail Street. And that will breathe a whole new sense of life into the beach product for Grand Bahama.
The Grand Bahama International Airport and the Grand Lucayan Hotel are projects that the New Day government says they are committed towards improving. While September is considered a slow month traditionally as it relates to visitor arrivals, Senator James Turner says the past few years have been relatively steady for Grand Bahama arrivals.
Margaritaville has demonstrated to us that we no longer need to be looking at our business in any seasonal way. Because last year, September was probably the best September they've had in recent years.
Carnival Cruise has been one of the more consistent cruise lines, bringing thousands of visitors to Grand Bahama, according to General Manager of Pirates Cove, David Wallace.
They called about a month ago to say, based on the numbers that has been coming to us of their ship, we are within the top 3 tour destination of Carnival in the whole Caribbean, and so we were pleased.
While the summer has seen an increase in visitor arrivals to the island compared to recent years, Turner believes that the last quarter of this year will result in record-high one-day-only passengers when it's all said and done. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jay Philippe.
In other news, the Freeport Licensee Association is hosting an education seminar for the public on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. Members of the association, David Wallace and Darren Cooper, speaking to the upcoming session, explaining that the objective is for business owners to become knowledgeable on their rights within the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. Yolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Members of the Freeport Licensee Association is urging all licensees to attend the upcoming education seminar that would shed light on existing issues and challenges surrounding the infrastructure of Freeport. These members are stating that if more business owners understand the role of the agreement, Freeport will be in a much better position.
A lot of them have the myth that it's only for bonded vehicles, but there are more that this agreement entails and provides us as a license holder opportunities in this agreement. And so we have some of the brightest of minds that have studied this agreement, that has made, spoke about this agreement in recent years, that's going to be a part of the seminar.
Cooper explains that the association wants some 3,000 licensees in Grand Bahama to understand their entitlement and level of commitment the agreement is demanding.
And there may have been seminars before that may have been had, and nothing comes out of it. What's going to come out of this session that's going to be held on Monday is empowerment, is knowledge. And a lot of persons, because I always hear persons make the statement of what the port should be doing. And if you pay attention to the actual agreement and you read the agreement, you would understand that some things that the public is saying that the port should be doing is really not in the agreement.
Another concerned member and also businessman David Wallace shares the association is aware that amendments of the agreement should be approved by 80% of the licensees, but it has become apparent that many of these licensees are not conscious of their rights and tax concessions. As a result of bringing more awareness, they plan to set up meetings with the Port Authority and the government.
Hence, the group met and had 2 objectives. The first was to meet with both the government and the Port Authority to discuss their plans for Freeport for the next 20 years. And I'm happy to say that a meeting was held with the Grand Bahama Port Authority on Wednesday of this week. We also wrote to the government asking for a meeting, and to this day, we've not gotten a response back from the letter to the government.
Wallace explains that they will continue to wait patiently on the government's response, and in the meantime will continue to educate licensees on the regulatory aspects within the Freeport District. Wallace is also making it clear that this upcoming meeting held on Monday, September 11th at 6:00 p.m. is not a political stunt. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Well, prominent attorney Terrence Gape is weighing in on the formation of a licensee group while expressing his support of the government completely attaining ownership of the Grand Bahama Port Authority for many reasons.
Licensees can meet and everything is fine. It's all democratic, but they should be careful of who they're supporting. If they're supporting the status quo, I have no understanding why they would want to do that. Because right now the status quo is killing us. If government wants to take over the Port Authority, I mean, they got to pay a fair price for it. But I would be in favor because I don't think the present group, which are the heirs of some of the founders, have done a good job or can do a good job.
Now, Gabe says while he believes the Hawksbill Creek Agreement will not be amended and will be in place for the next 30-plus years, he has some concerns specifically for licensees.
Now, if there's going to be an amendment to the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, the licensees will have a voice. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the Hawksbill Creek Agreement remains in place. What's going to happen is who administers it. Well, I think it's interesting that all of a sudden the licensees are very keen on making contributions, whereas for the last 50 years, I don't think they've done much. And the fact is this, who are they there to support? Themselves or the families or the government? I don't understand it. Now, if there's going to be an amendment to the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, the licensees will have a voice. But I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Switching gears now, the Minister of National Security disclosing a disturbing surge in reported rape cases within the nation's capital halfway through the year. While the reported incidents showed a notable 56% decline compared to last year's figures in Grand Bahama, the senior pastor of a Call to Holiness Ministries Agape House is sounding a cautionary note, urging residents to remain vigilant.
We decided that after hearing so much about rape and child molestation, incest in the news, that it was important to have that discussion and have people around the table who have to deal with it on a regular basis.
In response to a concerning uptick in reported cases of rape within the capital, Agape House is hosting a pivotal panel discussion aimed at addressing child molestation and rape.
Most of the cases I've been seeing coming out of the capital is that young men are raping older women. and older men are raping little children, which is crazy. Where did that mindset come from? I hear that somebody on one of the news reports had said that this is we are living in a rape culture. Well, I dismiss that. I cancel that. We are not in a rape culture.
Sociologists have identified a range of motivations behind sexual assaults and the silence of victims. One prevailing theory suggests that many perpetrators desire power, control, and domination. Another is rooted in the notion of revenge. Some rapists use sexual assault as a means of compensating for perceived rejections. Tragically, there are those who believe they are entitled to sex following a social outing, viewing consent as an unnecessary hurdle. The reasons behind the underreporting of sexual assaults are just as intricate. Victims are often reluctant to disclose the traumatic experience to their families or anyone else because of fear or shame.
I think this generation is more vocal and bolder now. And so whereas others would have been quiet and don't say nothing because they were afraid, this generation is not as afraid, and they're going to speak up. And so we're hearing about something that has been always happening, but now you've been hearing about it more because this generation decides that we're going to tell the story.
The senior pastor says more panel discussions should take place to address this critical issue.
Because it's happening, and I'm sure almost every one of us have a family member or know someone that's not a part of our family who has a family member that's gone through this. And so when it's that magnified, you need to address it. And I think now is the time.
Now, in response to the pressing issue, a panel discussion is underway tonight at Agape House Ministries. President of the BPSU and presidential candidate of the workers' team journeyed to Grand Bahama with the aim of rallying support from voters ahead of the 2023 BPSU election. That story, sports, and more in the Bahamas tonight. The Northern Edition returns.
For it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Honestly,
nobody does it better.
When a storm strikes and knocks out power to your home, you may be forced to use a backup energy source such as solar panels or a generator. But do you know about the potential dangers and how to safely use backup energy sources? There's one major risk. It's called backfeed, and it can endanger you, a family member, or someone else, especially a lineman or electrician working at or near your property. Backfeed occurs when power travels from your solar setup or generator back through the utility lines, resulting in them being unknowingly re-energized. Backfeed creates a very dangerous and potentially deadly situation for line workers and the public. To prevent backfeed, generators, whether permanent or portable, should never be plugged into a home's wiring or directly to the circuit breaker panel. The best way to avoid backfeed is by installing a transfer switch. Preventing backfeed could save a life.
It's back to school with Bellevue Gifts and Supplies. Shop now and get huge savings on composition books, 15% off textbooks, workbooks, school supplies, and all teachers' aids. Bellevue Gifts and Supplies, Queens Highway, making going back to school more affordable.
We are experiencing a natural disaster unlike anything we would have experienced in the past.
I'm Ricardo Lightboy. Join me Monday, September 11th and Tuesday, September 12th at 12 p.m. for the program Being Prepared, as utility companies at Grand Bahama share their plans before, during, and after a storm. Are you prepared?
here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. President of the Bahamas Public Service Union and presidential candidate of the workers' team, Kingsley Ferguson, traveling to Freeport to canvass support from voters for the upcoming 2023 Bahamas Public Service Union election. Ferguson says they are on the grounds contesting for the executive team, sharing their platform and hoping that the workers' team will become the viable union again to represent all members in need. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
They defeated their opponents during the previous election, and the question is, will they win again? Presidential candidate for the workers' team, Kingsley Ferguson, proudly proclaiming that the work they have done shows great strength of their capabilities as a union, and reveals that they have implemented new initiatives and strategies that will be beneficial to all members, especially Grand Bahamians.
We would have decided as a board, moving forward, that this island is where we would like to launch our housing program. We have already been in consultation with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. We have some stuff in our hands that consideration has already been given to. We are right on the threshold of making a payment so that we can ascertain a number of properties that we can begin to break ground and start our housing project in Grand Bahama. Reason being that the costing of the properties in Grand Bahama are reasonable, and it's within the reach of the Bahamas Public Services Union. But what we'd like to do is use this as a pilot project to cause the government to understand that we are capable of delivering houses for our memberships.
In addition to the housing program, Ferguson sharing that they will also provide a 5K burial plan as well. The presidential candidate stating that partnering with the government would be of great assistance with these new initiatives. But as it relates to promotions in the public sector, he agrees more progress can be done.
It can be done just a little bit more expeditiously. We understand that it's the entire public service, and so if they can just put a little bit more speed on it, because there are some persons who are seeing promotions come out and they're wondering where their own are. We want to encourage public servants today that the government is actually executing, and in short order we will be able to satisfy them that their promotions are going to be forthcoming shortly.
When asked on hope for the public sector, Ferguson relating to the accomplishments they have achieved, one that includes pay increase in the unions they represented, University of the Bahamas, public hospital authorities, airport authority, trade dispute conciliations, and to execute more for their people.
So our job is to keep the government honest in relation to carrying out the mandate of the government in delivering a effective and efficient public service, but at the same time ensuring that public servants get their just rewards and proper compensation for the labors that they are contributing to the keeping the wheels of this country turning.
Ferguson sending this appeal to Grand Bahamians to make the right decision.
Assess the work that we would have done, but prior to that, give consideration to the fact that we inherited something that was delinquent. It was a bunch of rubble. We were able to sift through the rubble, and we were able to present to our members the work that we did over the course of 2020 to 2023.
Voters will cast their ballots here on September 27th, reigning the presidential candidate for 2023. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
People organizing with effective results. The Power Team Union running for the 2023 Bahamas Public Service Union again, and presidential candidate Alexander Burrows sharing that during the previous election, they were not treated fairly. Despite the alleged setback, he says that this time around, the Power Team will prevail.
We believe that we would have won that election, however. There's nothing done before it's time. And we believe that we are within our time. This is our season. This is the season to rescue the organization. The BPSU can be a sleeping giant, but now we've awakened.
And as a member of Bahamas Public Service Union for some 18 years, I know how a union's supposed to run. And what we've been receiving as members, it hasn't been working for us. So to the membership, I would say this to them. Because we know this union isn't working, Why we stick with something that we know isn't working? Why are we constantly paying our union dues every month to a union that's dying? Why don't we select something that is new? Sometimes going into something is new may be scary, but that may be the very path that leads us to the promised land.
Northern Region Vice President candidate Sarah Bethel Cooper aggressively sharing that this is the time to deconstruct the culture of ineffective leadership, subpar representation of what she says only happens during election and financial struggles that is currently ongoing in the BPSU.
This team, the power team, we are ready to go to work for you on day one. We understand that the days of talking are long over. This team recognizes that the action is necessary to bring about the change needed within the BPSU. Hence, this dynamic team has devised new strategies and new initiatives that will address the concerns of our members and ensure that every single voice, and we do mean every voice, is heard when we take our seat as the new administration of the Bahamas BPSU Union on September 28, 2023.
Now the power team is calling on all members that are paying their dues to come out and vote, as each vote contribute to their victory. Access Accelerated Small Business Development Center held a workshop at the Pelican Bay Hotel for vendors and small business owners. The workshop highlighted key components that would help maximize business profits, according to Kenrit Delaney, who has been partnering with SBDC in an effort to help small businesses to survive.
When we think about branding, a lot of small businesses don't have the time and the effort to invest in it, but it's one of the most important things to do, even when you start a business, because you want customers to remember you. You know, we think about brands, we put a lot of trust in them because we know it by their logo, their colors, the stories they tell, the commercials they play. And I want Bahamian businesses to have that same access. I want people to remember them, not just in their towns, in their cities, but globally. Why not?
Small Business Development Center will also be hosting an entrepreneurial training workshop on Saturday, this time at the Grand Lucayan Hotel at 10 a.m. for business owners and persons of interest.
We're doing a two-part series. Tonight we're having a marketing training workshop for business owners at the port, the harbor, and of course the straw vendors. And then on Saturday we will be having a training for entrepreneurs, budding and existing, to be able to level up their brand. So tonight we just wanted to be able to give those vendors, like I said, at the port and harbor, a little bit more knowledge on marketing, especially in a ever-changing technological business landscape, and of course marketing in a mobile-first landscape. And so we wanted to teach them on using the power of branding to leverage the growth and development of their business.
Your Friday Check on Sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports on a Friday. High school volleyball expected to start in less than 2 weeks, but night league volleyball right around the corner. But before we get there, let's check out with softball. The Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association is gearing up for the playoffs. Here's President Martha Edgecombe.
The league has been going great, as you guys can see so far. What we would have done, we would have added fast pitch softball on Wednesdays. You know, everyone was hyped coming off of Bahama games, so we decided to utilize that. We would have had a number of females and men, surprisingly, came out this year interested in playing fast pitch. So on Wednesdays now you can look forward to fast pitch games right here on the softball field. We have 3 ladies teams as well as 3 men teams. That's fast pitch, and that league, I must say, is very competitive at this time.
Now on Saturday, 4 games scheduled to take place. Marco City will take on Express in all men's. The Royal Bahamas Police Force will take on GBHS in corporate league play. Now when all men's play, Ira Boys will take on Pats, and the feature game will be between Coopers and Pats in co-ed action. Switching gears now to volleyball. The volleyball season for men's and women's night league is expected to begin on October 24th.
The games will be on Tuesday, Thursday, starting at 7 p.m. So we have 3 divisions, men, women, and co-ed. So this is at the YMCA. And we'll also be beginning our junior program, which starts September 9th. And this is for males and females. So we're looking forward to their support and participation, not only in the night league, but also for the junior development program and for future prospects for the national team, which is going to be held next year for the juniors.
Ladies and gents, that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Fluid Factory presents Rick Ross live in concert Saturday, December 23rd at Gombe Park, Freeport. Early bird tickets, general $35, VIP $50, and platinum $85. Fluid Factory Skybox $150. See you there.
Get in, get out, equip yourself for the future. Pine Yard Technical Center is preparing the next generation for tomorrow. Sign up today for long-term or short-term classes. Strike a spark today, ignite a flame tomorrow. Torch handling, fire watch, plate and pipe welding. Sign up today.
School is in. Here are a few safety tips brought to you by the Grand Bahama Power Company.
Kids, pack your school bag the night before so there's no panic in the morning.
Always buckle your seatbelt as soon as you enter the vehicle.
If you're walking to school, try to walk with a friend or family member.
Do not accept rides from strangers.
Always obey the speed limit when driving in school zones.
Use pedestrian crossing and crossing guards to cross the street.
Always cross in front and not behind your parents' cars. And remember to look both ways.
At pickup, wait for the vehicle to completely stop before approaching it.
And when all else fails,
be aware,
be alert,
and be safe this school year.
Doctors Hospital is reimagined primary care. We've invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations in Freeport and 8 Mile Rock, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
The School of 8 Mile Rock will breed brilliant minds that will change the Bahamas' future for the better.
I feel like Battle of the Brains acts as a catalyst towards the career you want to pursue once it falls under STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics subjects and topics. And it's great to grab opportunities like these to help you.
I believe the Battle of the Brains allows a great opportunity for us STEM students to come together in a friendly, competitive environment to test our knowledge and to learn something new.
We are experiencing a natural disaster unlike anything we would have experienced in the past.
I'm Ricardo Lightbourne. Join me Monday, September 11th and Tuesday, September 12th at 12 p.m. for the program Being Prepared, as utility companies at Grand Bahama share their plans before, during, and after a storm. Are you prepared?
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Judy Forbes, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We want to wish you a happy birthday, and we celebrate you this entire weekend. We also want to say a happy birthday out to Warren Seymour,
of Nassau, who celebrates his 87th birthday today. Thanks for all your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys for watching. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, dozens rescued at sea. Crime's impact on healthcare, shocking e-vehicle sales, and in sports, Pharrell Clark re-elected. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Makush Lapinder. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, more than 20 people are counting their blessings following a boating accident south of Rose Island. A 32-foot vessel going down, with investigations now underway regarding the incident. Our Lloyd Allen fills us in with the details.
What you're looking at are the final rescue efforts. This just off the coast of Rose Island. Police reporting just after 3 on Friday, a boat capsizing, and this involving 28 persons. Chief Superintendent Kristen Skippings provided more details on this latest development.
Information is that around 10 a.m., a tour company left from Paradise Island on a tour to the Rose Island area. They were out there for about 4 hours. And on their return back to New Providence, the vessel that they were on started taking on water. The crew, recognizing what was going on, immediately sprung into safety mode. They equipped all of the passengers who were tourists to our shores. They equipped all of them with life vests and were able to remove them safely from the vessel.
Now, just moments after ZNS News arrived to the Police Marine Unit, we boarded this vessel here along with other law enforcement agents, taking the 20-minute ride to Rose Island.
So we are presently here, just south of Rose Island, where you can see crew members now from the tour vessel. They are here in an attempt to retrieve the boat that capsized shortly before 3 o'clock with 28 persons on board. Again, I reiterate, the skill of the crew members. Once they recognized that the vessel was taking on water, they immediately ensured that all of the visitors were equipped with their safety vest, and they ensured that they removed all of them from the boat prior to it overturning and sinking in waters just here to the south of Rose Island.
Now, again, a lucky save, according to police. I see 28 persons still survived, only 3 having to be assisted by medical professionals. Reporting here from the Police Marine Unit for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. A local physician speaking out, meantime, on the critical state increased crime is having on an already fatigued healthcare system and the work doctors pump in to saving lives. Here's LaDawn Davis.
Victims of gunshot injuries, murders, traffic fatalities, COVID-19, or really any other tragic event oftentimes pass through the Princess Margaret Hospital Accident and Emergency Section, making a very busy facility. But what few may know is that these are all traumatizing experiences for the doctors tasked with doing their best to ensure no life is lost.
I know that the hospital had put out, and we had gotten a good response for persons to give blood, because we had issues with that in the past, because every time someone comes in with a gunshot wound or a traffic accident or something that requires that type of intervention, we have to use what's available. And so all of these things come into play, even the nursing support staff and everything. We have, everybody is now directed to this person whose life we're trying to save. And so it does, cause everything to then be and on a delay, because you have to prioritize what we can give the support to.
President of the Consultants and Physicians Association, Dr. Sabrika Pinder, reasons that a healthcare system that's short-staffed with limited resources creates yet another challenge.
The government is still footing the bill for all of these things, and we haven't gotten any new additional staff to support that, in addition to the fact that there's still renovations and different things happening in the hospital. So it's a lot of different dynamics. So we really, really want the public to be mindful of all of those things.
The senior doctor believes avoiding conflicts that can lead to an excessive bloodshed and can do more harm than good to an already strained healthcare system. If this is considered, Pinder says it would give medical personnel more time to assist patients with minor procedures.
We want to encourage people to, to really, really talk about conflict resolution. It's very, very, very important, and valuing life and the importance of a life. And I think if we talk more and are more supportive and show more love to each other, maybe we'll be able to really understand that and help our healthcare system. Because certainly if you come into the emergency room, and let's say for a broken arm or something, and you're in pain and waiting, and you're about to be served, and then someone else comes in, and now everything has to stop and then we're waiting to try to get you in line, but the bed that was there for you is now gone. That's the reality.
Still, despite having very little to work with and inadequate health insurance, Dr. Pinder says it can only be a labor of love that's keeping thousands of doctors on the front line, saving lives. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Well, we're going to shift our attention now to what's going on in the tropics. This morning, Hurricane Lee again intensified to now a Cat 5 storm with winds in excess of 155 miles per hour. It's since weakened slightly, but don't let that fool you. It's still very much a major hurricane, albeit down to a Category 4, and it's making its way west-northwest in the Atlantic Ocean. Thankfully, it is over water and far away from the Bahamas. For the latest on Hurricane Lee, though, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Basil, despite its position, does Lee still pose a threat to the Bahamas? And where exactly is the storm right now?
Well, Makisha, let's first of all start off with where it is. It's about 500 miles to the east of the northern Leeward Islands, and Lee is moving towards the west-northwest at about 13 miles per hour, so it has started to slow down in order to make that turn towards the north, which we should see in another day or two as it continues on that west-northwest track. Now, maximum sustained winds has decreased. It's now down to 150 miles per hour, but still a very powerful Category 4 hurricane. And if you look at the forecast track, it has shifted significantly more east of the Bahamas. So this system is going to pass well to the east of us, so no direct impact from this system. But nevertheless, because of the very strong winds, it's going to generate some large swells, which will begin affecting the southeast Bahamas starting on Sunday. And those large swells will spread into the central and northwest Bahamas during the early part of next week. So boaters in the Bahamas, we're asking you to exercise extreme caution, and if you do not have to go out to sea over the next several days, we're advising you to simply stay in port.
Well, thanks, Basil. The chief meteorologist will be with us. Join us again later in the newscast for Family Island weather and international temperatures. Meantime, record-breaking temperatures driven by climate change having a damning effect on coral in the Bahamas that are already fighting against the stony coral tissue loss disease. However, as Jiminita Swain tells us, scientists see coral bleaching as a crisis that cannot be understated.
Coral reefs in the country facing a new threat. Higher ocean temperatures are now leading to the coral reefs being bleached, with entire systems dying off. Executive Director at the Perry Institute of Marine Science, or PIMS, Dr. Craig Dahlgren sheds light on their latest findings.
This summer, we're also experiencing a major coral bleaching event too. So recently, myself and my team have been to reefs off of New Providence and Rose Island, off of the Exuma Keys, including the Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park. And there's currently a team working in Abaco as well, assessing the disease in those areas, and now this new coral bleaching event that's happening this summer.
Dr. Dahlgren says for the past 4 years, the stony coral tissue loss disease has been spreading throughout the Bahamas, with one exception.
One of the places where we're not seeing the disease impact reefs is in the Exuma Keys. For whatever reason, the disease hasn't reached there yet, at least not in the area around Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park or down to Great Exuma.
Scientists are even more concerned about the extent of coral bleaching.
It's causing corals to become bleached, they basically spit out the single cell plants that live inside of their tissues that they rely on for food. And as a result, they could starve to death. And we are seeing that happening in some parts of the Bahamas. We did see in the Exuma Keys, for example, widespread coral bleaching. Last week, we hadn't seen it earlier in the summer when we were there, so it's happened very rapidly. But there are some reefs where we aren't seeing much of it.
The scientist says Abaco, for example, is seeing minor bleaching, but he admits that most of the central Bahamas is experiencing coral bleaching and seeing the death of mini corals.
This year, it's particularly bad. Because the waters have warmed up so quickly, and we normally do see some amount of coral bleaching in the Bahamas, but this year it's more severe and it's happening much earlier than we've seen in any other year. And as a result, there's really not a lot we can do. We can't cool the waters down enough to make a difference.
Now, Dr. Dahlgren says once the waters cool down, scientists can assist by restoring the reefs if there is an outbreak in the aftermath of the coral bleaching. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Jimenita Swain.
Still to come, British Colonial to open its doors within weeks. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
Since they were on sale, Monique couldn't resist things she didn't need. And neither did Bruno. Hungry for deals? You better come and satisfy that hunger for only $20 at KFC before doing something crazy. Get 8 pieces of juicy, fresh, in-store prepared KFC fried chicken and hot golden fries for only $20. A finger-licking good deal.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
ZNS wants to thank all those who entered the new college freshman giveaway. And out of all the entries, 15 finalists have been chosen. These finalists will be receiving prizes from Comfort Suites, Security Depot, Atlantis Resort, Cafe Channing Noel, and BTC. We want to thank our sponsors for these wonderful prizes. We also want to send all contestants the very best wishes and good luck on a successful freshman year in college.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
vibrant heart of the Bahamas, a common loftier goal unites us all. A place where love and unity thrive, where world-class technology is accessible and affordable, connecting every generation. We believe in our heritage and the boundless potential that lies within us. We believe in Bahamians.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Give it a matter of weeks and the British colonial Hilton Hotel will open its doors. At least that's what Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, is promising for the historic downtown property that closed back in February 2022.
British Colonial Hotel will open this year. They're looking at towards the end of November. This is going to be good for the downtown area. It's going to breathe new life into downtown. Good opportunity for entrepreneurs. Jobs and spin-offs will be a fantastic addition to what we already have in the tourism space. As you know, we're doing a lot of great work downtown. This is going to add value. And certainly vendors downtown will be able to benefit from the opportunities of the Hilton Hotel. You would also know that occupancy levels are very high all across the country, and therefore the much-needed addition to inventory is going to be important for the overall tourism industry.
Meanwhile, among the new bills on the new legislative agenda, the Downtown Management Authority bill. The proposed legislation focuses on the livelihood and restoration of the tourist hub as the government seeks to slow the decay of and revitalize downtown Nassau. Speaking at the government's weekly briefing on Thursday, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper notes the possibility of the current revitalization unit of the Ministry of Tourism morphing into this authority. Here's more on what that bill is about.
Downtown has always been loosely managed by the stakeholders, the Downtown Partnership, and they've had some great plans over the decades. We are drawing on some of those plans. The reality of it is that there has to be some authority with some teeth to bring focus and bring back the old charm of downtown Nassau, Nassau reimagined as we call it. We're hoping that this body will in fact be allocated some funding. That's a matter for the cabinet to determine.
Still on tourism, with the Bahamas poised to surpass both the 2019 record of more than 7.2 million visitor arrivals and the more than 7 million of 2022, the president and CEO of the Nassau Airport Development Company is weighing in on what it means for the country's main gateway and sharing the transformations officials must take to keep up with demand. Cleopatra Murphy has the details.
Expanded airlift from American Airlines and Delta, as well as continued services from other providers, has the Bahamas on pace to surpass the 8 million tourist threshold for the first time in history, with a healthy chunk of that figure traversing through the Linden-Pinling International Airport. President and CEO of the Nassau Airport Development Company, Vernice Joaquin, says it's a major plus for the country.
I think there is clearly a strong demand for travel, not just to the Bahamas, but certainly we're benefiting from the demand that Americans in particular have for travel because we are so convenient, we're close, we have lots of good tourism product for them, hotel inventory is good, and so they're finding their way to us.
Joaquin says the expansion of air services by increasing capacity and adding new gateways is a recognition on the part of airlines that the demand for travel to the Bahamas is sustained and not simply a reaction in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. She reasons it allows the Bahamas to broaden its customer base.
It really is a good thing for the destination, so we're not overly reliant on any particular market in the event something were to happen in that particular market. So to have new gateways opening up like Seattle, Los Angeles is really exciting. We also have Delta coming out of Miami for the first time ever, which is really quite interesting, and we're really excited about that because Delta has been a solid partner here in Nassau Paradise Island and at the airport for many, many years.
As for passenger traffic through LPIA, Joaquin says she expects official figures in a matter of days, but the summer was very strong. The CEO says the country's busiest gateway is currently engaging in a capacity planning exercise to better manage the increased traffic, something officials recognized the need for after the record of more than 4.1 million passengers in 2019.
Some of the plans that we had put in place then that we had to put on hold, we are reactivating. And we're taking a more critical look at it now in view of the fact that we're coming from more gateways, larger aircraft and all of that and what that means. So that planning exercise is actively underway.
Joaquin says over the next few months, they will be developing a growth plan that will enable LPIA to process people more efficiently with the addition of self-check kiosks, more gates, and the like. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Well, President and Managing Director of the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort, Audrey Oswald, says she's looking forward to fostering good labor relations with the new Minister of Labor and Public Service, the Honorable Pierre Glover Roll. Ms. Oswald says it's all about ensuring the best for Atlantis employees.
Nothing ever came of that. You know, we are very respectful of our employees. There's no one here that has ever intimidated our employees or asked them to do something inappropriate. So I think that all of that was blown out of proportion by, you know, people that just like to have some frenzy in the media.
Oswald also provided an update on a survey the Department of Labor issued to Atlantis employees back in May following complaints from staff who alleged they were being pressured and intimidated by a senior executive to take a particular course of action in relation to the Royal Caribbean International proposed beach club project on Paradise Island.
We had a great relationship with all previous ministers of labor, including Minister Bell. There was, you know, there's always going to be questions, disagreements when you have 6,000 employees and you have, you know, for the ministry overseeing so many different employers, there's always going to be questions. And, you know, we don't mind questions as long as they're fair and the response is fair.
Well, preparations underway for the Progressive Liberal Party's 55th National Convention set for November 9th and 10th at the Bahama Resort under the theme Building on Progress, Driving Change. Party Chairman and Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, says the council has set a non-refundable fee for anyone who wishes to run for office. For the office of leader, it's $2,500, deputy leader, $2,000, chairman, $150, and all other officers, $250. Minister Mitchell providing these additional details on the new procedures for nominations.
So in 2019, we held a special convention. It was held at Holy Trinity's Activity Center, and the whole Constitution was revamped. And so the whole set of new procedures in place. And the main one is, in connection with the election of leaders of the party, is no nominations come from the floor anymore. Everything is done in writing and is done in advance, 14 days at least, it says, before the convention takes place.
Marcellus Hall joins us in studio with a check on what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for this evening, the GSSSA with a new president or perhaps an old president. We'll give you the details just ahead in sports.
For hurricane season, we got you.
back windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
On May 1st, 2012, Rubis acquired the Chevron fuel business in the Bahamas, which traded under the Texaco brand. We are now celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Rubis brand in the Bahamas. Rubis has become the fuel brand of choice. However, our 10-year journey was not without challenges. We would like to recognize our dedicated members of staff and thank our customers for their continued support. We look forward to another 10-year milestone as we continue our journey.
The leadership arm of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister at the Bahama Resort to discuss plans for collaboration and possible future partnerships. Lloyd Allen tells us more.
Members of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity have met for strategic planning as well as their board of directors meeting. Standing here with us is the president, rather the general president. He's Dr. Willis Lonser. Of course, this is an important session. Just a few moments ago, you met with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper. Tell us a bit about that meeting. How successful was it?
I thought the meeting was extremely successful as we were able to discuss a range of matters that are relevant to the government and to the people of the Bahamas, as well as potential interest for our fraternity and really partnership opportunities, which is really the greatest aspect of all of this. The synergies or the realization of synergies outside of even tourism that are existing certainly came away enlightened from the meeting, and I'm excited to see what will happen.
Well, and of course, you do have a few sessions planned over the next few days. Tell us a bit about what your intentions are.
Well, sure. We're looking, as many organizations do, and we are a non-profit, multi-million-dollar organization. We have to look 3 to 5 years, maybe 10 years ahead about those things that are coming down the pike for us, most relevant for our membership in those communities that we support. And we will be discussing from governance to the implementation of new training opportunities for our membership, as well as services and partnerships that we may cultivate over the next 3 to 5 years as we look to elevate our community like you're looking to do here in the Bahamas.
Well, of course, just a few moments ago, we spoke with the Deputy Prime Minister about this very matter. Here's what he said.
So there are great opportunities. This is a progressive group, and the opportunities we share and the potential synergies we explore certainly will accrue to the benefit of our country, the benefit of their membership. We hope to interest them in the investment opportunities in the Bahamas. I've had occasion to talk about some of the new industries that we are working towards, inclusive of renewable energy and technology, and of course our bread and butter industry, tourism.
Now, part of the Bahamas has planned to expand its connection with this organization, and sharing a bit more on this is Stephen Johnson. He's from the Ministry of Tourism.
Great, it's good to be here. We are excited about the opportunity here with Alpha Phi Alpha, being a fraternity man myself in the opposite fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma, and also in the Masonic Lodge. You're talking about lucrative business. I've been heading up this division for them, and this is going to be exciting as we trek forward to make the Bahamas one of the #1 Masonic fraternal destinations in the region.
Some progressive steps being taken by this organization to collaborate with the Bahamas in building a better community. Reporting here from the Bahama Resort for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
King's College School recording a significant increase in students' academic performance who used their AI platform last term. Principal Matteo Rossetti says the majority of years 4, 5, and 6 students participated in the program, which was used in everyday teaching and learning. He credited the results to students using the AI-inspired platform, which offers custom learning paths for students' classwork, homework, and real-time analytics.
What does the AI do? It identifies a student's strengths
weaknesses, and misconceptions. And then it feeds that student work and learning that is tailored individually to that student. And all the while, it communicates that to the teacher. So the teacher is able to have very detailed level of analysis of the performance and understanding of every single student. And therefore, they can then impact their lessons and really tailor superb lessons in class. So it's a tool in the hands of the teachers that really empowers huge levels of growth. And in 1 year, we have seen a 9.2% growth in student performance.
King's College is part of the Inspired Education Group schools, which educates students across schools in 6 continents, all focused on 3 pillars of modern education, academic excellence, sports, and performing and creative arts. Rossetti says students also benefit from exchange programs offered by the school.
We're part of a family of 100 schools worldwide, and these are some of the best schools in the world. We educate 80,000 students worldwide. In some of, our school in Italy is the highest achieving IB school in Europe for 6 of the last years. We have 5 of the top 10 schools in Spain, including the top school in Spain, school in Sydney, best school in New South Wales. So what are we doing is that we are harvesting best practice in terms of curriculum design, in terms of pedagogy in the classroom, from all these incredible places in the world.
With soaring gas prices and increasing number of Bahamians may be seriously considering alternatives to traditional gas-guzzling vehicles. We're seeing more electric vehicles on our streets, and certainly operators feel sales are up. But are these environmentally sufficient vehicles all their supporters seem to think they are? Or are they a fad with a short circuit? Corval Pyfram is test driving the debate.
Depending on where you stand may determine whether your engine roars for electric vehicles or not. But with gas prices well above $6 a gallon and indications are all but certain those will shoot up even further, the switch to fuel-independent vehicles or electric automobiles is becoming an even more enticing alternative. They are slicker, more stylish, and yes, even more affordable, at least relatively speaking. But for those who've made the switch to this environmentally conscious mode of transport, there appears to be no reverse, no pumping the brakes on it. These are not alternatives. E-vehicles are the way to drive forward.
You can manage your time. You know that I can come home and I can charge for the evening. I don't have to worry about the lines, and I don't have to worry about any kind of spark plugs or going in for oil change. That's huge. That's a big savings right there.
But if you ask Pia Farmer, the managing director here at Easy Car Sales, the country's only exclusively electric vehicle dealership, she says that a lot of what we're hearing about these vehicles comes down to simple misinformation.
They have all the safety features, airbags, all the things. But on top of that, they have technology. They have the latest technology, so you can have your hands-free Bluetooth and 17 million other features, including heating or cooling your seat, and I don't know. There's so many of them, I can't even list them.
Gotta tell you, that was my first time in an electric vehicle, and it was awesome. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfram.
All over the past weeks, you've heard from Bahamians living their dream in the Far East. Now hear from the body responsible for facilitating the affairs of Bahamians on the other side. Our Anthony Smith tells us more.
Our remit, basically, is to strengthen and expand relations with the host country.
That's Bahamian Ambassador to the People's Republic of China, Her Excellency Paulette Bethel. Her comments reflecting the country's aim to foster growth and build on similarities with countries we share ties.
On the level of diplomacy, there is always a need to expand relations and try to get to know the other country, its culture, its people, its history better and better, because that is the basis for moving forward in terms of expanding and deepening relations.
The Bahamas and China this year celebrating 26 years of bilateral relations, a partnership between two nations which has seen to cultural, technological, and educational exchange. Speaking at the Bahamas Embassy in Beijing, Bethel notes the potential for partnership on more fronts and the potential for more markets to tap into.
Agriculture, the digital economy, etc. Those are all potentially areas for further cooperation. What China has to offer and what the Bahamas need are things that need to be aligned. And of course, that can be done through discussions and through learning about each other, what the needs are, what the potential is.
Back in April, Foreign Affairs Director General for the Caribbean and Latin America, Kai Wei, reiterated China's commitment to assisting Caribbean countries in areas ranging from tourism and sports to climate change, energy, and disaster emergency resilience. So when the time does come for collaboration, the embassy will play a vital role.
The basic information that is needed has to be sourced in the first instance before action can be taken. And the embassy can and does play a role in that in terms of being the liaison between the Chinese government and the government of the Bahamas. That is a very key role for us on all of these matters.
Both home and abroad. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Antoine Smith.
Gather the men, leaders leading in righteousness to be held tomorrow. The Zoom and Skype virtual meetings intended to be a wake-up call, a gathering of like-minded Bahamians intent on steering the country back on the path of righteousness. Organizer is Apostle Clement Russell.
Why now? Because we are seeing the different troubles that's translated from out of order, which causes us to have crime increase. Order will always decrease the results of out of order.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Get ready, Bahamas. The Nations League is upon us. This Saturday, September 9th at 6 p.m. Our men's national team, the Junkanoo Boys, go head-to-head with Puerto Rico at the Thomas D. Robinson Stadium. Dive into the electric matchday vibes. Secure your spot now. VIP tickets at $35 with drinks, finger foods, premium seating, and exclusive benefits. Adults for $20 and children under 13 at just $10. Purchase tickets online at bahamasfa.net or in person at the NN State box office. Rally behind the Junkanoo Boys and don't miss out on this soccer spectacle.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Thursday's land lease signing between the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation and the Bahamas National Trust puts some 548 acres of protected space in the care of the trust to develop the Seahorse National Park and Sweetings Pond, home to the largest concentration of seahorses in the entire world. As the Bahamas National Trust prepares to take on the Seahorse National Park in Hatchet Bay, Eleuthera, marking that island's second national park and the country's 33rd overall, conservation officials say a lot more still has to be done to meet the country's sustainable development goals. Outside of the primary islands, New Providence and Grand Bahama, officials are identifying other vulnerable locations with an expectation those sites too will be designated protection areas. VNT Executive Director Lakeisha Anderson-Rold says the nuances of the various islands must be taken into consideration, and she notes that crucial balance has to be struck.
Our family islands, however, needs to look at a different kind of development that can sustain the natural resources that are found across the archipelago. In 2018, the Bahamas National Trust, along with many conservation organizations, put forward what is called a 20 by 20 white paper or marine protection plan, and that identify a number of areas, about 43 areas across the country that should be set aside for protection. And so it would be in the best interest of the country if we can ensure that those particular areas are sustained in terms of its natural integrity to avoid unsustainable practices.
It's time for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Lakeisha. We have a few clouds outside of our studios. Temperature at 83 degrees. The relative humidity 76%. East-southeast winds at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,012.6 millibars. That is 29.91 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We protected you. 83 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greenville, Key and Abaco. Marshall, Abaco at 82 degrees. The Berry Islands, 83. Allenstown, Bimini, 82 degrees. 82 also in Harbor Island. Rockstown, Eleuthera, 81. Black Point, Exuma, Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek and Central Andros at 82 degrees. 80 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma, and that extends into Rygat Island, Clarence-Town, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matthew, Nago, very warm tonight at 86 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center for the Northwestern Islands. Right through Saturday, those light and variable winds will continue with flat seas 1 to 3 feet. Low tide, that will occur at 10:34 tonight, with another low tide at 10:26 tomorrow morning. Now for the south, central, and southeastern islands, also through Saturday, east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Now, as we take you into Sunday, in the northwest and central islands, the winds become southeast at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will occur at 11:23 in the morning on Sunday, with a high tide at 5:50 in the afternoon. Now for the southeast Bahamas, the winds easterly at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet, but we will begin to experience some large swells as a result of Hurricane Lee, which is moving towards the west-northwest. That will begin late on Saturday and continue into the early part of next week, so we're asking boaters to exercise extreme caution as of Sunday. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a Sand Dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving Sand Dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose,
You can pay for goods and services
wherever Sand Dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Savings are especially sweet this week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Soy's mayonnaise 30-ounce, $4.99. Rainbow corned beef 12-ounce, $2.39. Capri Sun drinks 10-count, $4.99. Pretty Lady grapes $3.99 per pound. Turkey wings $1.89 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
In 1953, the United States began using a female name for storms. And by 1978, both male and female names were used to identify Northern Pacific storms. This was then adopted in 1979 for storms in the Atlantic Basin. The National Hurricane Center does not control the naming of tropical storms. Instead, there is a strict procedure established by the World Meteorological Organization for Atlantic hurricanes. There is a list of male and female names which are used on a 6-year rotation. The only time that there is a change is if the storm is so deadly or costly that the future use of its name on a different storm would be inappropriate. These are the names of storms for the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season: Arlene, Brett, Cindy, Dawn, Emily, Franklin, Gert, Harold, Idalia, Jose, Katia, Lee, Margot, Nigel, Ophelia, Philippe, Rena, Sean, Tammy, Vince, Whitney. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
The Public Hospitals Authority and the Princess Margaret Hospital advise the public that only emergency cases are encouraged to utilize the emergency department at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Non-emergency patients are asked to contact their primary care physician or utilize community clinics for care. A medical emergency is an acute injury or illness that poses an immediate risk to a person's life or long-term health, sometimes referred to as a situation risking life or limb. If you are unsure whether you require emergency medical assistance, please call 919 or the emergency department at Princess Margaret Hospital at 326-7014. The public is encouraged to follow all public announcements and advisories from the Ministry of Health and the Public Hospitals Authority for information regarding health and hospital services.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protecting life and health with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale was developed in 1971 by civil engineer Herbert Saffir and meteorologist Robert Simpson, who was the director of the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It was introduced to the public in 1973 and began to be widely used a year later, inspired by the Richter scale that measures earthquakes. The Saffir-Simpson scale was divided into 5 categories. Originally, the scale included predicted barometric pressures associated with the various wind speeds, as well as the relative kinds of damage that could be anticipated. However, because those predictions were found to be very inaccurate, just a few years ago, the warning system was changed to include only the wind speeds, which were also adjusted upwards in the higher categories. A Category 1 hurricane has wind speeds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. A Category 2 hurricane has wind speeds between 96 and 110 miles per hour. A Cat 3, 111 to 129 miles per hour. A Cat 4, 130 to 156 miles per hour. And a Category 5 hurricane will have wind speeds from 157 miles per hour and up. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Have you ever purchased a defective item and was denied an exchange or cash refund? Contact the Consumer Protection Commission at 393-779-5-8 or our 24-hour complaints hotline at 357-7898 and let us help your voice be heard.
Hey, get up, stand up for your right.
On May 1st, 2012, Rubis acquired the Chevron fuel business in the Bahamas, which traded under the Texaco brand. We are now celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Rubis brand in the Bahamas. Rubis has become the fuel brand of choice. However, our 10-year journey was not without challenges. We would like to recognize our dedicated members of staff and thank our customers for their continued support. We look forward to another 10-year milestone as we continue our journey.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Well,
welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check on a Friday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, the GSSSA, or high school softball and basketball, all that good stuff, getting ready to get started once again as the new semester is underway. For that to happen, we have to have an election of officers. That took place yesterday. For more, let's take a quick look with our Charles Fisher.
Pharrell Davis with a slate elected to serve another term and ready for the task at hand.
My motto say, your work speaks for you, and I have done well over the years. I've been here from 2015, and so the members know the work that I've been doing and going to continue to do.
Volleyball September 18th, getting the GSSSA Sports calendar off and bumping. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
All right, thanks, Fisher. Local flag football players, coaches, and officials benefiting from the NFL's Flag Clinic held Thursday at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Conducting theory and practical clinic was Tom Lanive, who was the director of officiating for NFL Flag.
The seminar, the objective of it is to educate coaches and officials on the game of NFL flag football, everything that has to do with the rules. Also, from a coaching standpoint, understanding offensive and defensive strategies, how they want to set up their practice plans, taking advantage of the time that they're going to have to be able to grow the game by teaching the game, and trying to basically give them every tool that I possibly can while I'm here to be as successful as they possibly can as they build the program through the youth here in this country.
With flag football growing by leaps and bounds, Tom has great expectations for its future.
We're certainly hopeful that the Olympics adopts it as a sport, okay? And everybody in the leadership at NFL Flag, from Izell Reese on down, okay, is working towards that goal, okay? And I think everyone, and I don't want to speak for other organizations because I work with RCX Sports and the NFL Flag program, and I know that Izell is completely committed to growing this game, as I am, okay, to support that goal, as it always has been. So I think that's really where it's at.
And that's it, your Friday Check on Sports. Don't go anywhere. We have that look at the weather that is just ahead.
This is ZNS Total Sports. Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we'll get you started in the tropics, and we have, this is a tropical storm. It's about 705 miles just to the west-northwest of the Cape Verde Islands. This is Margot. It's moving towards the west-northwest at some 17 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds at 40 miles per hour, but we expect some gradual intensification of this system over the next couple of days. The good news is it's going to turn towards the northwest and then eventually to the north, remaining over the open waters of the Atlantic, so no problem for us here in the Bahamas. And then there is Lee. Lee was once a Category 5 hurricane, now back down to Category 4. And as you notice, that eye has kind of disappeared momentarily, and that's because of the weakening effect of the system. It is moving towards the west-northwest at 13 miles per hour, so it has slowed down over the last several hours in order to make that turn towards the northwest, which we anticipate. The good news is that forecast track has shifted more eastward, taking the Bahamas out of the cone completely, so that means we're pretty much okay as far as this system is concerned. But nevertheless, starting Sunday, though, we will experience some very large swells generated by Lee, beginning Sunday in the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and during the early part of next week, those swells will gradually spread over the remainder of the Bahamas. So we're asking boaters to exercise extreme caution over the next week. And our satellite picture close to home still showing that troughing that was across the southeast Bahamas, starting to back up over the central Bahamas, and that could increase the shower activities tonight with some pockets of showers and thunderstorms taking place. Forecast tonight, partly cloudy with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, 81 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow we're looking at variable cloudiness because of that troughing. A heavy thunderstorm very possible during the morning, followed by brief showers in the afternoon, and the high temperature around 87 degrees. Extended weather forecast, showers and thunderstorms remaining in the forecast through Saturday. Come Sunday, things dry out quite nicely in the early part of the next week, and right into the middle of the week, looking pretty nice. And then we have some showers returning on Friday with some overcast skies and thunderstorms developing as a result of a troughing that will emanate from Hurricane Lee. Temperature-wise, low 90s daytime, low 80s during the nighttime. Make it sure.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
We have common enemies, terrorists, fundamentalists,